We'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Y'all give it up for the amazing poets. Yes. A conversation with my mother. The year was 1971, months before my oldest brother was born. Hey, bubbling brown sugar baby girl, look at you, full of life, laughter, love. Your possibilities are endless. Those eyes are wide, curious, peering through cracked doors. Those eyes are too smart for that body. That body can't keep up with that mouth. That mouth is too full of your mother's expectations, her secrets, we don't talk about that, has finally caught up with you. 16 has finally caught up with you. 16 has been stone cold, rock hard, rough, broken dreams. What are you hiding?
3-year-old, determination not to wear that. Loves her short summer dresses, wears it daily with short white socks with the seam across the toes just right, and sandals. Strength and assuredness in her stance. Mom is also determined. Struggles ensue, wills clash. The pants, the shirt, the bow ultimately wins. The dress lays on the bed, rumpled, reflecting the struggles of the human spirits of both.
But be careful, turbulence is to be expected. The shock will range anywhere from a tickle to a knock us out of the sky, dropping like hearts into stomachs on days when runways were just a little too short. But in this plane, we regain composure quickly, stay steady on our course, keep altitudes high enough to never come close to anything that feels like falling. But just in case we do, please direct your attention to the overhead screens as we review the emergency procedures. There are 6 emergency exits on this flight, 1 for each love you left behind. Please note the location of the closest exit. Remember, the closest exit might already be behind you. Should the cabin experience any loss of happiness, stay calm. Follow the instructions of your crew. They know what's best for you. Something worth loving will drop down from above you. Please note it is a mirror. Use it to find all your own beauty before turning to help anyone else in the likely event of an emergency landing and evacuation. Leave all that stress behind.
In my dreams, time moves backwards. I am never sure which regret my thoughts are taking me to. They move so swiftly yet chaotic, a sort of brainstorm. I read that hurricanes spin counterclockwise in the north as if to reiterate, my brain only knows to move backwards. Time is captured on clocks by gears revolving in opposite directions. So brainstorms are like revolving winds of regret riding on the gears of clocks, all working together to push past and future into present, forcing time to stand still. They say there is no such thing as perpetual motion, meaning eventually everything will end. If that is true, how do I stop the energy that is keeping my regret in constant rotation, a never-ending cycle of pushing my past into present? 4:44 a.m. regret.
My puppy barked at me just 30 minutes after his little accident. Looking up with button-bright eyes, my puppy, he barked at me. What? Why? Do you want to go? The idea finally occurred. My puppy barked again as if to agree. Out the door we went, red leash in my hand, to the corner, in the grass. My puppy did so good.
I hold proper etiquette and Bayou slang on the same tongue. My temper is a Cajun boil. I will set the water flaming from effing my head too long.
Creole healer. Spent my summers basking in seafood and bounce music, learning how to mend souls one verse at a time. Voodoo ain't my first choice, but it's the first language I ever heard I love you in. The first time they ask if I'm afraid of the water, I'd say, I stopped fearing water a long time ago. My city know water better than most. We drowned once, Learn that hope can be used as a flotation device. Life can be an 8-foot wall of water.
We remind each other,
You gotta swim until the bad days sink to the bottom of your memories.
I started losing battle buddies way before I put on a uniform. Seeing streets turn block parties to war zone, ride marches to drive-bys, can always find the fireworks where you hear the gunshots, can always count more people that I've known die than the people that mourned around the casket. A graveyard with no bodies buried. Concrete streets hold the dead better than coffins. This is what it feels like to be the living dead, to grow numb to those that die around you.
When we have nothing left to lose, we hold tight to our memories, imprison our joy in our speech. Hey, you remember that summer?
That party, that time when
we sunbathed in good times. It's not about how deep the ocean is, but your willingness to see the sun firsthand, to make a way when home gives you no option but to leave. I was forced to grow up godless, missing the evening porch swings and misplaced sermons, holding time on her face hands dipped in biblical texts, smelling the peppermint and hearing the choir in her voice. I began to be an atheist. If I've never seen her or touched her, does she even really exist? Is the only fact that she might be real that I am alive a scripture, spit from the mouths of dementia, hold me close and forget that she is gone? Family members try to cite memories to capture me in her presence, to call her spirit into this room, but being abandoned by God makes miracles a fallacy.
Goodbye, heavy-footed neighbor lurking above. No more listening to furniture moving in the wee, quiet hours. 3 people, 2 pets, in tight space. Fond memories filled to the brim, too. What lies ahead? Hedges that need trimming, lawns that need mowing, freedom for pets and people. Space to breathe after quarantine squish.
The system is structured for them to rearrange the boxes they've already built around you. Yet I spy teachers who make a difference because they adapted to the same learning curves and took tradition, resized the image, called these lessons plan Instagram. We're here to make sure you get a picture for all the negatives that you already work with. We can work with this because when you cried, I cried. It's just so many families have already dried these eyes. It is borderline bullying, antagonizing as a form of encouragement. Threats of bodily harm while exposed to classes all lies till you are the one laughed at. Science speaks on bonds in chemistry, but not the mad scientists experimenting with their own DNA. So why do we learn history if it simply repeats?
The words were fired before she could put on the safety.
Today, she woke up,
Glass breaking.
too far behind time to
Find acceptance in the cracks.
aim for the mirror.
A hand, 650 grams too heavy.
The glass shatters.
A scream cuts through the eardrum.
Echo came back.
A bullet looking for a sweet spot.
A hand,
A memory.
too heavy.
A bullet.
A memory.
A scream.
A bullet.
A photograph.
A scream.
A crack.
Behind time.
The glass.
A crack.
Words fired.
The glass.
A moment.
Words fired.
No safety.
A moment.
Too late.
An
An experience formed before the memory. The echo came back. An apology. Self-love starts in the morning.
One night you said to me, "You're smart, but I'm pretty. And it's my time in the spotlight now." Clear tears on my face, your words through the wires of my clear, see-through telephone, like clear glass cutting through my heart. Ordinary words turned into extraordinary pain, cementing what I had already suspected. 28 years later, 44 years old, those words still clear in my mind, those words staring at me from the mirror.
6 years and 2 suicide attempts later, y'all, and I am still here, still standing as the aftermath of what happens when you take a positive situation and turn it into an undetectable one, when you take something that is meant to kill you and use it to keep somebody else alive, show them how to be gentle with the bodies that we call home and the ones that we let live inside of, and how even when we don't, how even when we forget, how even when it seems like some days it's just a little too too hard, so y'all, I'm still here. I am still alive. I am still breathing. I'm still here.
Did you curl your dark thoughts in oil sheen? When you asked me and Jamel to go to the movies, was this the horror film you had in mind? Did you do it with the same hands you raised daughters? Brown melanated queens you called your world. So what was the gravity of this new situation? What magnetic pulls attracted triggers? The same trigger that refused to ride backseat as a chauffeured my friend to his final destination. You see, I told Josh, when he lost his car, I'd pick him up from anywhere. Work, home, Sprint, on 133rd and State Line. That store closed now. But maybe had he stuck around, the CBD shop might have given him the relaxation we all would die for. Sky's the limit. You wanted to take it literally.
Well, this was a great night, don't you think? Let's clap for all the poets. Let's clap for Lauren, Jay Ann, Corinne, and Mandy for sharing their work. Clap for Peter for being such a gracious host, and for the Dallas Slam team. And I am your host, Candy, and that concludes our evening.